Oh, speaking of the Fox,
What do you got?
what do I got? I want to brag about your I got Sparky trading.
Yeah. That was
I
like
got him short selling the Voyager.
I've never done this before.
Now, and I seen something on the chart yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I texted you, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and you
And
were like,
my reaction was, I'm not gonna do it, but have fun.
and I was like, then I talked him into it. I was like, well, just do like 10%. Is that what you did? Did you end up
Uh,
doing just like
you know what?
10%?
I picked a number and I just did a bunch of them. So it was whatever I had on my on Voyager. So because I like Voyager's quick. So
Yeah.
um I
If we were doing Voyager's not like ideal to be trading on, you know what I mean? It's not a platform meant for that. They do have their fees for transaction stuff. So if we were imagine if we had done what we had done on something like Kraken
right.
and we had done it with 3x leverage, you'd be
Dang.
smiling right now. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Well,
Yeah.
so yeah, so let's explain what happened. So you when you texted me, you said Voyager's at 350 right now, and I was like, yeah, and you were like, I think I'm gonna sell and then buy back in at a lower price. And I was like, have fun. I always lose when I do that. And you said, come on, you kind of strong armed me into it. It actually you didn't. You were just like, come on, try it. So I sold at 350. And basically, I was watching my phone the whole time, and you were texting me. You were like, "Hold on, hold on." You were like, "When it hits 310, or what? No, 320, buy back in." Because like right
When it
at that,
drops under 320, yeah.
yeah, because that 320 resistance, like it kept hitting 320 and then bouncing back, hitting 320 and bouncing back, and I was like, and it would go up to like 326, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose it," and then it would go like 319, and when you said pull the trigger, I hesitated, and it went back up into the 326, and then went back down to like 317 or I think, yeah, and then it continued to go and was like 310, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it was this peak right here. I seen when I see the charts and I can explain. I gotta get set up on the. I gotta set up some charts so I can draw lines and really go in depth more on the charts and what we do or anything. But basically, it was what I seen this. I seen the bottom and then I seen this great big flag and I was like, oh, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm short.
that
I'm
goes
short.
like that's like straight up the roller coaster, right?
Yeah, and we picked the top right there. We sold right at the top. I think it went up to like 360, and then I got back in at 315, I think. And this isn't quite reading it quite right.
Yeah, because we I watched it go down to 310 there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it went all the way up to like 360 something. I got out at like 350. I'm not sure what you did or whatever.
Same thing. It was
And then I knew if it dropped below 320, there was going to be resistance there to go back up. But but yeah, it's pretty exciting, huh? It's fun. It's nice when you get a win. I mean, you ain't
yeah.
looking
I
for
mean,
home runs, but
if you have a little bit of money that like I tell the guys that work this, I'm like, if you're gonna buy scratch tickets, like this is a way better thing, because you can
yeah,
kind of feel it out. And like even if I hadn't bought back in last night, I was watching it again today, and it dipped. You can see right here, it dipped again lower than what it was last night. So it's like if you think you know what's going on. My problem is I don't read charts, so I'm kind of dependent on you.
yeah. Well, you got to be able to control your emotions too, and you have no idea what it's gonna do. You have no idea what it's gonna do. You have no idea. Like you said, that we could have waited, and right now it's like at 303 or whatever. You
Right.
know what I mean? We could have waited and got more of a profit, but you can't look at it that way. You got to look at it and be grateful for everyone. Doesn't have to be a home run, because just like when it's so hard to sell when the price is going up and up and up and up and up. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things to do. And the same thing, the other way. If you're shorting it, and like I said, you're selling at 350 and you're waiting for that price to go down, and then we hit 320, 315, then most people will just sit there and stare at it and hope it's going to go lower. It's going to go lower. It's going to go lower.
Take your
And then
profits.
picks up and you missed and you're out, and
Yep.
now you're on the sidelines, and it could go up to $6, $7, $8. You know what I mean? That's why it's not safe to short in a bull market, especially Bitcoin. I don't short Bitcoin in a bull market, and technically we're still in a bull market right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was kind of fun. It was exciting. You know, I was glad
So
glad
I'd like you to review for anybody that happens to be watching. You said to me last night, because I bought in, I looked on my chart, I bought into Voyager when it was around $5. So you said to me about my taxes, what?
Oh yeah. So you kind of like killed for a couple birds with one stone. You bought Bitcoin or Voyager up here at $5,
Right.
or whatever, and then you sold it down here. That's often in the other markets or whatever, they call that wash trading. Like some companies will take an asset that they bought and the price dropped way down low, they'll sell it and buy it right back immediately, and that's called wash trading. They do that just for the tax benefits, to show a loss on their papers. You know, it helps them. You know. So you did a wash trade, you shorted Voyager token, and it was a successful short. So you know what I mean? And you don't look at it as like dollar in dollar denominations is how I just trying to pack your bags with more tokens.
More Voyager, which is what we did last night. We got more Voyager tokens.
Yeah, for what? All this happened in a matter of an hour and a half, or
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun for sure.
Yeah. It's nice when you
well, for me, it's like it's kind of like going on a safari, right? Like I get to see the lion without him eating me, and I think, well, Jimmy's going to protect me because he's driving the car. He's going to protect me from getting eaten, run over by an elephant, right?
you were reluctant. I was like 80% confident. I was like, man, this is gonna happen, so I got to do it, and I did it with a chunk. I a large chunk. So I was like, yeah, I'm I wouldn't do that if I wasn't at least 80% confident of
So my experience, so I won't be doing this on my own just because I don't read charts well enough, although that's a pretty apparent thing. My thought is I just need to know what other coins you own that you might do that with, so I can get some of that, because it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, what you should do, and what we could do on here even, is we'll both take like a couple $100 or $100, $50, it don't matter, whatever you're well allowed, and you keep that like separate, like I have my ledger and my portfolio. That's I don't gamble that, you know what I mean? I don't gamble it. And then you can take like 2 to 5% or whatever, and do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I've talked about my kid. He builds chicken nesting boxes, right, out of plywood. And when he builds his stuff, like he'll sell one box. Right now he's getting $15 a hole, right? So he sells a 2-holer and he gets $30. Well, he takes 15 of that, he kind of sets it off to the side, and then moves on with, he takes 15 profit, puts 15 back into it, turns it around and makes another box, So, and of course, price of plywood, that's not really happening very much lately, but it's kind of the same thing, just using your money to make money, Yeah.
And you don't need a ton of chart reading skills to, like this is a 30-day with Voyager, and just like going back and looking, like when you see a movement like this,
hard. Yep.
You don't know where that top is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And anybody that tells you that they do, they're bullshitting you. They don't know.
Right.
If the chart was much higher, okay, like this, and you're down here. Well, let's say we're like in this part, and the chart goes up. You kind of have a little bit of an idea of the possibilities of here, because like if the price was to fall here, that let's say we're right here, and the price falls, that there's going to be a little bit of support there, because there was a ton of buying pressure right here.
Yep.
There at this peak and at this peak, you know what I mean? There was buying going on. So when you're below that moving average, that acts as resistance. See, like right here, big sell off, it popped back up and then sold off and then bought up and then met that resistance here. And then it sold off and then found support here. See this line here? I wish I could make that little box go away.
Right.
But this little line right here, you see where it fell and it found support.
Yep.
Boom. Now you got resistance, fell back to the line of support, and then boom. Now you found that resistance again. And every time you punch that top of resistance, you're more likely to break through it. But this kept hitting the bottom, hit the bottom, hit the bottom, and then hit the bottom and didn't find support. And now that's super bearish, you know?
Yep.
If it fell through that, now the next line of support you're looking at, I mean, there's a small one here, but there's a big line of support at like $3. Where are we at right now?
$3.
You understand how this works?
Yeah, no, that's, I mean,
Like,
so are these people trading or bots or both?
both.
Both.
Like what we're doing, that was the most primitive way to do it, because you don't have a trading platform and you're doing it on Voyager, and they're going to take their fees. You know, if you're buying at 320, you're probably actually buying at like 325 or something like that, because it costs, you know what I mean, they take their fees and stuff.
So maybe we should do that next time. Maybe because I've got $100 that I'll get on Kraken or whatever. I don't have a Kraken account, I don't think, but I'll start one. Maybe we can do that for a thing.
Well, professionally, if you're gonna trade on there, there's a ton of stuff that we gotta go over.
Okay.
You know, there's a ton of stuff because that's a professional trading platform, and I'm not saying I'm this, that, and the other thing. I'm not by any means. But if you can trade it with leverage and stuff like that, I don't recommend that. But like a Coinbase Pro, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Good with that. I think in the United States, they only allow 5x leverage. I know that there are trading platforms that do as much as 100x.
Really?
Yeah. So you could be sipping martinis on the beach in Maui with one trade, or you could lose everything.
So my question is, how much of that leverage trade do you need to have on hand? Because if like, don't they need to collect from you if that's the case?
No, how it works is how it works is let's say I have one Bitcoin that I'm going to trade, okay, and that you're trading with 5x leverage. So basically what you're doing is I have one Bitcoin, and the platform is going to allow you to borrow 4 Bitcoin. So you're basically trading Bitcoin that you don't even have, you don't even own. The platform is lending you 4 Bitcoin.
But if you lose it, you have to pay that back.
This is how it works.
Okay.
If you're trading at 5x leverage and you have 1 Bitcoin and you're trading, they loan you the other 4 Bitcoin. And let's say it's at 50,000 and I think it's going to go to 51,000, and I'm going to put 5x leverage. This is a done deal. This is happening. So I borrow it and I put it on there. It goes to 51,000. I just made $5,000 off of one, or actually the whole Bitcoin, but let's say I just did $1,000. I made $5,000 off that $1,000 movement. If the price goes down, you're going to lose 5x leverage. Okay.
Right.
So when the price starts to go down and it's going against what you gambled on, and you can do the same thing short, and you can do the opposite. I'm going to sell my Bitcoin and 4 of the platform's Bitcoin at 50,000, and I think it's going to go to 49,000. And when it does, then I'll buy it back up. And you just made 5,000 that way. You can do it left or right. I mean, up or down. But if let's say we're wrong and we bet the whole Bitcoin at 5x leverage, and we're saying it's going to go down 1,000. Once it starts to go down, it would drop like 20%. So it'd go to 4,800, let's say 4,800 versus the 5,000, and you get liquidated, because as soon as your Bitcoin is done, they'll close the account for you. They're not going to risk theirs. Okay.
Right.
So it's,
Okay.
if you're right in the platform, it's winning. They have no problem giving you Bitcoin because they're making money. You know what I mean? But soon as you are wrong a little bit, just enough to lose your Bitcoin, they're not going to lose their 4 Bitcoin.
They close the mousetrap and they pinch your fingers on the way out.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's going up, you can get greedy, and but like I said, if it goes, you're betting at 50,000, we think it's going to go to 51,000. We 5x leverage. It goes to 51,000. We made $5,000. But on the downside, against the bet, you're losing 5x leverage. So if the price starts to go down, we're not even going to make it to the 40 to 49,000. We'll only make it to like 48 before our Bitcoin is burned up, and you know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, no, we're not taking. So that's the short and long of it. Anyway, I think like something like the Dogecoin that we were talking about, you can make some mad money short in that or long in it. Or
yeah, that's what I was thinking when we were talking about Doge on the last one. There is that you could sit there, because Doge has been so up and down that like you could really watch and make some cash on it.
Yeah, I mean, real traders, like real people that are really deep in it, they love the volatility. They don't want something that's trading sideways or you know, the volatility is where the money's made.
With the idea, you know, what I would do with that idea, and I'm just saying out loud to make it obvious for people that don't know, is you build that Doge, and if you're winning, then you take, when you're like, okay, we've had enough, you take that Doge out, or a portion of that Doge, and you put it into something else that you find valuable over time, right? And build your position in Bitcoin or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, but you want to get on a platform like actually one of the downfalls of Voyager is and we should touch on some stuff with Voyager since I'm thinking about it. Is they don't have you can't trade quite yet on there. Everything goes to USD,
right,
and then to a stable coin,
right,
and you can't go from like Ethereum to Bitcoin. It's got to go from Bitcoin, or it's got to go from Ethereum to US dollar to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And that's not a very good way to trade. So what I'd recommend, if you were gonna trade and you're gonna pick something super volatile like the Dogecoin or whatever, you know, a platform where we could do that would be like the Coinbase Pro. I'd recommend that because the fees for the traders are a little bit cheaper than just regular Coinbase.
right.
And you go from Doge to a stable coin, back to Doge, stable coin, back to Doge, until you build some sort, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to gamble that much no more. So I'm gonna take 30% of that and put it into Bitcoin.
Right.
You know, and in a way, that is kind of like we talk about, Bitcoin is turning into a store of wealth.
It's where you pull out that profit and you put it someplace safe. That's where it is.
Well, safer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'd be happy. I think it'd be kind of fun on here. People would like to see it, you know.
We should
take $100 and try to see what I can turn it into, or see what we can.
What kind of turnaround time do you want to give it? Like, do you want to just do a short thing, or do you like want to go, okay, we got $100. This is what we're going to do over the course of a month?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. We'll get into it.
All right.
Maybe once a week or something like it. I mean, if you're gonna do it like what we were doing, yes, that's just short. That's short market stuff. You know what I mean? That's not. So you kind of have to be married to the platform at that point. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that, unless I see, like I told you, like a really low hanging fruit, and I'm like, oh, I see an opportunity right here.
Yeah.
I see an opportunity, and it looks like about 80% chance. Okay, I'm down. Not very often I do what we did with the Voyager token, unless I see something crazy like that that looks 80% right. And then I'm willing to take, a large, like I did the whole damn Voyager wallet that I had, and
Yeah.
I could be risky. I don't recommend everybody do that.
Well, like I said to you, because you were like, only do what you're comfortable with, and I was like, well, it's just money,
Yeah, just money.
money. So
Just money.